Welcome to another highlight reel. Bit of a change up this week. So it's Ash, one of the main admins from CVR, and I've also got Gavin. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, everybody.
And also Paul.
Yes, one of the other admins. You gave yourself a lovely intro then. I am also one of the admins. Maybe not the main one, but an admin nonetheless. Sorry, just got to get that in there.
Don't put yourself down like that.
I've got a word for that.
Yeah, little bit of a change up this week. Thought I'll do a bit of a highlight reel just to bring in some fresh voices for radio. Although you're probably sick of hearing mine anyway. So we are going to go through the race number 4 at Zolder. So if you have a look on the screen, I have posted our lovely posters up that include all 8 races that we've got through this season. So number 4's already struck off because we're proactive like that. So that was designed by our in-house Cerberus graphic designer, Kirk. So big shout out to him for sorting that out, and he's also sorting us some awesome shirts out as part of the merchandise that we've got up and coming.
That's available before the end of the month, hopefully, all being well. We're just going through the final planning of them now.
I'm looking forward to getting my hands on one of them.
I'm just looking forward to wearing something that breathes a bit better. I mean, it's been terribly hot.
If we do go ahead,
other than being topless.
If we do go ahead with the meetup in October, it'd be quite entertaining to get us all meeting up wearing our shirts. So something to look forward to.
So yeah, Bathurst last week was interesting. Probably wasn't my best race. So this week I had a bit of a mild panic when the loft conversion guys decided to rip up my old gaming room floorboards to get to the pipes, and they didn't put the floor back down till Friday. So I had a mad dash Friday night trying to rebuild the rig temporarily so I could race. So yeah, I was sweating in the 30-degree heat, just trying to build it up, thinking I need to get some practice in. I can't let Arik win. Ultimately, that didn't work out, as you'll see in the race, but I managed to get some form of practice in. So at least I wasn't on a swivelly desk chair like I was at Bathurst, because every time I braked or accelerated, I was spinning ever so slightly, which was off-putting at the best.
Sliding across the room every time you brake.
Well, I've took off the caster wheels, but you can't lock out the top part of the seat. So like when you was braking or accelerating, it was just turning my body ever so slightly, like to 40 degrees. So effectively for the hour plus that we'd got the practice, the quali, and the race, it was like a spinning class. So I mean, I'm going to have some real good muscular sides near my ribs, because I felt it the next day, because it was like being part of a spin class.
Like a calisthenic workout on your abs and core.
I'm like the most ripped sim racer ever, just because I was on a desk chair. I might have to try that. I might say that to the missus. Maybe she'll let me race more.
That could be the next Joe Wicks, a bit for sim racing, how to get fit during sim racing.
Like I say, I keep talking up my sim racing, as obviously I've got a fairly fit and active job, but this is my little sort of gym workout. Turn up the strength on the wheel. Like I say, I think we yep.
I was literally just going to say the race on Sunday. I forgot to put a fan on.
Yeah, mine ran out of battery. Just as Sandro
I don't have a fan.
Just as Sandro was chasing after me, mine ran out of battery. I think that sort of aided the mistakes I made in the end. But
do you need a fan in Scotland though?
Oh, burn, literally. Well, we have we did enjoy a heat wave as well.
12 degrees.
Listen, 12 degrees.
How far north are you, Gav?
I'm just outside Edinburgh, so I'm central belt.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I think as soon as it gets above sort of 12 degrees in Scotland, it's taps off. So iron brew and down your local field with a bottle, enjoying some drink. That's just how it goes. But no, I don't have a fan, and I wish I did. And I've now got one ordered, just as the we've now basically looked like we're into winter up here in Scotland. So
Yeah, Ash has done
Yeah.
the same. He's literally just taken delivery today of his air conditioning unit.
Yeah, so I got the message yesterday, which then the minute the message came in saying that they were going to deliver it today, we had torrential rain and floods. So
well, hopefully Kirk will do some jumpers as well as t-shirts going into the winter period.
yeah, that might be
Yeah.
something else. I'm sure he'll appreciate that he can design.
Well, I mean, we can just carbon copy the t-shirts to an extent, I would hope. But anyway, this is currently turning into an online planning meeting.
So I'll let you go through the running order. So the final order that we finished in last week for Bathurst, I'll let Gav go through the sort of where we're at and what it is going into this week.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with the amateur class. So in third place in the amateur was I actually don't have his name. It's just got racing from the back. So apologies.
Stacey Ellis.
Stacey Ellis.
Stacey Ellis, thank you. Simon Tonkin took silver in second place, and Chris Montgomery won the amateur class. I think that was his first race with us as well. So fair play, especially at Bathurst. The Pro-Ams, so Kirk Nicholson took third, Nicholas Pelzy took second, and Arik won the Pro-Ams. And then in the Pros, the third place was Michael Willicott, Adam Scott took second, and Yusuf bin Suhal won in first place. And to be fair, Yusuf, looking at his best lap, I mean, a 2-minute flat is pretty impressive round Bathurst, so fair play.
So that was the running order after the drivers managed to finish Bathurst last week. So it opened up some interesting points. I think it was quite close on the actual standings, weren't it? There weren't much between some of the drivers.
No, I'm actually just trying to bring it up now for those that are watching the YouTube stream. Can we do the standings after? No, I can't do the standings after
Yeah,
the
I've got the
race.
standings here to be fair, but it's so, I mean, within the amateur class, Chris is sitting third with 100 points, but very close at the top. We've got Stacey Ellis in second on 144, and Simon on 154. Simon Tonkin, that is, on 154 points. The Pro-Ams, we've got Connor Jelowowski. Apologies, I've butchered that for the second time tonight.
Yeah, we need to find out the proper pronunciation for that one.
So he's in third with 136 points. Just 3 points ahead of him is Mark Cutts. He's on 139, and then Arik, to be fair, he's starting to get a wee bit of a lead on 161 points at the top of the Pro-Ams. And then the Pro class, so we've got your good self, Paul, sitting in third on 128. No, actually, I have to admit, I think this is including the most recent points, to be fair, so the most recent race. I'm in second. I'm 1 point ahead of you, and then 4 points ahead of me is Peter Wachinski.
Just to quickly jump in there for those that have been watching on YouTube. I didn't actually have the results from Bathurst on screen, but I now have the current standings that Gavin is going through at the moment. Sorry to interrupt there, Gav. Carry on, mate.
No, that's fine. That to be fair, I've realised that this includes the race we're about to cover, but
Yeah,
it is very, very tight.
Yeah, so if we pause the standings there, I think, and we'll come back to that once we've done the highlights of this race, because it's a bit more current. Ash, back to you for the running order, I think.
Yes. So going into this race, it was some really good qualifying, I thought, overall. When I looked at the initial times, there was not much in the first sort of 6 drivers.
Yeah.
And Martin, I mean, it's always been a strong track for Martin. He told me it was from his Project Cars days. So he's always been strong whenever we've done this track. For me, I've never been a fan of Zolder. I just don't like the centre chicanes on it. It reminds me a little bit like a worse version of Monza.
Yeah. I had,
Yeah.
as you know, I haven't played and got the practice in as much as I want to over the summer because of work commitments. But this is the first one I've really sort of sat down and thought, right, I'll have a practice. And yeah, I found I was quite fast on it, which was quite surprising. And yeah, it was quite nice to be qualifying first, although I'm sure Sandro or Todd would have beaten me. But yeah, as the best of the rest, to beat Gavin and P Dubs and Eric, I was quite happy with that.
I,
Yeah,
I'm-
for myself
oh,
included on that one as well. Never got much practice in this track. The last time I raced on it, I was in a different car as well. So being in a McLaren on those chicanes, those curbs, was is pretty terrifying.
You see,
um,
I only struggled with one of. Everyone was shouting about the curves, but I only really struggled with one curb, which was the first one going into the right, left, right before you go right. Yeah, sort of the middle
oh
sector,
yeah,
the
yeah.
second sort of chicane. And
Mhm.
it was just that first right. I kept bottoming the car out. I tried all sorts of different things on the setup. So, but yeah, that was the only one I really struggled with, but not to the point of death. But yeah, it got me. Well, both chicanes got me during the race, unfortunately. But I'm sure we'll get to that at some point.
yeah. So before we'll do like a running sweep of the grid. My overall testing, I found that the esports setup that I'd got was just a little bit extreme for the hour race.
Yeah,
So I did like a safe setup tweaked with ever so slight more focused on the esports. I mean, it was more less traction control, a little bit less ABS,
yeah.
but
And
it did cause me
which,
at one bit just to go straight.
which setup builder did you go with in the end?
RW was actually because it was the newest
RW.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Same here. I did the RW Esports, and yeah, just sort of really the only thing I'm doing really is softening off the rear end with various sort of bits and pieces. But yeah, on a link to setups, if anyone wants help with setups or they want some base setups, join the Patreon. They're all in there. Anyway, back to today.
so yeah, I decided to go with that, but I think ultimately going the more safer side of it meant that I didn't have sort of the straight line speed that the Mercs did, because
Yeah,
the Mercs they're just
absolutely.
absolute brutes on this.
Yeah, and the
Mm.
BMW as
Which
well as ever.
yeah, I mean I'll show you in the race, but I were a bit disappointed because me and Kirk have sort of become rivals as me and Arik are, and we're yet to have a strong continuous race. So last week when I was behind him, looking to do a decent bit of overtaking, because I found out where the Beamers were lacking compared to the Lambo, I then got P-dubbed. Um,
So is I think we're going to have to start a Cerberus virtual racing dictionary. I think for these ones, getting getting P dubbed, and you know,
so that
Eric's various problems when he was building his PC.
that effectively meant that I was pretty much out of it, and I think I finished 3 laps down at Bathurst. So this week I was like, right, me and Kirk, we're on it. He's in front of me again, and yeah, he had the issues this week. So, but yes, without further ado, what we'll do is I'll switch the stream over onto the cars, and I'll let my glamorous assistant Paul. He will talk us down the running order on the left hand side, as you can see there.
I actually have the qualifying results on screen at the moment for those that are watching on YouTube. So if we start from the back, I'm just going to do the overall grid, and I'll shout out the various classes people are in as well. So starting in 22nd, Michael Woolacott. 21st, Nicholas Petzel in the Porsche in the Pro-Am category. 20th, Lucas Lemmers in the Am category, driving, very brave man, driving the Nissan GTR. We then have 19th, Simon Tonkin in the amateur class, driving the Mercedes. 18th, Christopher Montgomery, again amateur class, in the McLaren. 17th, our very own Stephen Biles in the Pro-Am class, driving the McLaren. 16th, Stacey Ellis in the amateur, driving Mercedes. 15th, Sean Field in the amateur. 4th, Chris Wilson in the amateur again, and then we start moving into the bulk of the Pro-Am lads. 13th, Tony Herzig in the Ferrari. 12th, Claudio de Barros in the Ferrari as well. 11th, Christine Nicholson in the BMW. 10th, Ash Leach in the Lamborghini. 9th, Christine's worser half. No, worser isn't a word.
Oh,
Lesser
yeah, it's not
half
English, that.
in the BMW. 8th, Mark Cutts in the Ferrari. 7th, Hans Gingle, our very own, driving the McLaren 720 with a very fetching paint job, which you'll see as we go through. 6th, Martin Storey in the Mercedes. 5th, Connor Yalowetsky. I think that's about the 7th different pronunciation we've given him tonight.
It's
In the
a
in the
different iteration of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Peter Wyczynski as the first of the pro runners, I think. Oh no, we had Michael Wallacott down the bottom. I was one of the pro
And
runners.
Van Sand as well.
Ah, yes. So yeah, he joined just before the start, didn't he? Third, Eric Roguski as the top of the Pro-Am, driving the Mercedes. Second, my arch rival and nemesis, Gavin Sullivan, driving the McLaren 720. And top of the tree, my best performance while we've been doing Cerberus, and my first pole position, Paul Simon. Thank you very much. Driving the Lamborghini Huracan. So,
So the grid is pretty mixed up due to some like late joiners and stuff like that. They were, I think, Michael. He didn't make much of the qualifying, so he ended up dropping straight into the race. Same with Nick and Van Sand. So
yeah,
Yeah.
I
grid
was,
was shook up a bit.
yeah, I'd say a couple of the guys at the back didn't do any qualifying. So, as I said in the podcast, I shan't ruin anything. But yeah, some of those guys at the back got very high mentions in the podcast, but I won't mention it. You got to go there. You got to listen to it. That'll be available shortly. Anyway, I'm waffling again.
But as you can see from the running order, I think we've pretty much got the pro am and am class nailed on really, because
Yeah,
I was
everybody is there or thereabouts.
yeah,
I was just thinking that it's pretty. Obviously, the three chaps at the bottom were able to qualify. It would be pretty perfectly split in terms of the colours.
Yeah. Byler's pedals didn't work, so he's back on an old Logitech.
Right.
So yeah, he's moved back from his upgraded system back to an older system, pretty much like what I was at. So I think without further ado, let me just get my camera angle back. I'll count the guys down and we will start on the actual race, because there is some really strong racing for the first, well, I mean, first 30 minutes for me. I was really pushing to do a long strategy, but
yeah.
came in a little bit earlier.
Again, something we discussed in the podcast, myself and Gavin. We not
Mm.
discussed beforehand, but we both decided that all being well, we were going to go as long as we could as a long run.
Well, there was me thinking actually I was being maybe out of the box, do something different for everybody else, and it sounds like everybody's had the same idea as me
Yeah,
to go
because
long.
yeah, again, Peter had a plan to go longer as well.
Yeah.
Again, that's a podcast episode guys need to catch up on.
So 23 on the grid. So let's go 3, 2, 1. So quite a decent-ish start. There were a few little errors with some people just being out of place, which caused a little bit of I think a 5-car issue, just going into corner 1. But it was all the from position 17th down, I think. So a lot of the front runners went off all right, and as you can see here, I'm slap bang in the middle of a Nicholson sandwich.
Those liveries too, they're very nice liveries they are. If I can pause it there and wind it back to the first corner, and we can have a view of the little incident we had at the back with a few of the guys. If we choose car car 49 or 69, 49, car 49, and playing from 5 minutes 23. So no, hang on, let's take that back. 5:18, play it from 5:18, concentrating on car 49. I'll count you down when to play when you say so.
Yep.
Yeah, so play 3, 2, 1, go. So as you see here, there's a little Byler's having a go up the inside, and yeah, little game of skittles there.
Yeah.
If I flip, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, and also if we bring up car 420, myself, and just watch that off the start with myself and Gav. Start
Yeah,
watching.
this is just
Start
really
what?
good racing from the
Start
beginning
what?
here.
Yeah, I'd say if we start watching at 5:19 at the first corner, watching myself or Gav, and we'll press play in 3, 2, 1. And yeah, Arik having a little move up the inside, nicely blocked
It
off there.
shows you how quick that Merc is off the start, though, doesn't it? I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
even the Ferrari as well, but really clean racing from where I was, because my radar was going car right, car left.
But yeah,
Yeah, so
this was a great battle between myself and Gav.
yeah, so you managed to get the kind of undercut,
Yeah.
going into the fast right to get me there, try and get the inside line.
Yeah, I carried too much speed into the second corner, went deep, and you got it perfect, which lined us up
Yeah.
nicely. And,
I actually thought I managed to keep closer to you there up to the chicane, but actually I don't think I obviously didn't.
I did. And so
Yeah, I think you caught the curb ever so slightly on the way out, but we only lost. The Mark Cuts ends up going off, which allows me just to flick through. So I end up gaining a position on Mark.
flick over there to Sandro coming up behind. Is that you? Yeah, behind you actually.
Yeah. So I'm like, Sandra will go around me, and he's like, "No, I'm going to draft you." I'm like, "No, just go around me."
Oh, you get. Oh, I see. I can see why he was upset when people are letting him by like that. You should at least battle him a bit, make his life a little bit difficult.
Yeah, but what I'm conscious of is while I'm battling him, Cuts is catching up. So the more time I waste trying to keep Sandro behind and going off the racing line and stuff, I'm actually losing time against somebody that I'm racing in my split.
So Sandro's gained. When he took you over there, he's gained what, 10 places there?
He's now
on lap 3.
He's just taken 8th place on lap 3.
I mean, obviously there was the cars that crashed ahead of him. But how many were in that? Was it 6 cars that got involved with that?
Six cars.
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
Yeah, when we checked in the steward.
Yeah. So I mean, fair play getting up the grid that quickly.
And there is the previously mentioned Hans Gingle's lovely paint job there. And you've got Martin coming up to have a go.
It shows you how quick that Merc is. I mean, it just sails past him. It was a great move, that.
Really like Hans's livery. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then again, keeps him.
Look at that.
Keeps him in there.
So on the podcast, I mentioned Hans, and yeah, he had a really strong race, and that was some great battling there between you two. Oh, look at that, Sandro again on our very own P-Dubs. P-Dubs,
the Sandro show.
Yeah. P-Dubs is actually the creator of our podcast, which you can get on Spotify and places like that.
Yeah. So Arik
overtake you with it.
Yeah. So if we can wind it back a wee bit, but I run wide on the first left, and then he's got the momentum when he takes me. Or actually, I'm over brake.
Oh my lord!
The fast right, sorry, that was it. And then I'm all over the place in front. I must have kept Sandro for a lap behind me, and then it comes up to here. I think I again over brake, and he just takes us on the inside.
Oh.
Well, if you look at the running order there, there's been a little bit of a moment with Kirk. So as I said, I was just sort of teeing him up where I was stronger than Kirk and getting ready to pull the move, and then there was a little bit of a moment in front of him with Martin and somebody else, and they ended up getting spun out. So I ended up gaining a solid 2 positions. But fair play to Nick as well. He's also working his way up the grid, as is Connor. So I'm very conscious that I'm getting some fast drivers coming up behind me here.
Yeah, I'm saying the action there. I mean, it looked like Arik for a minute was letting him by, but the speed difference there coming out of that last corner, he's got it all done on the straight. And Arik was
the McLaren is still strong though.
Yeah. Arik was just covering the inside line. Here's a couple of our AM drivers here. Lucas Lemmers and Simon Tomkin.
Big curb there from Lucas.
Yeah, Simon Tomkin had 3 punctures in 2 laps. Toward the end of the race, he was telling us during the podcast. Oh, he's gone wide.
That's tight.
But 2 AMs giving each other plenty of room, not making
Yeah.
it difficult. Good to see. Keep it up, lads. But yeah, very brave choice taking that GTR, to be honest. It really isn't strong at any circuit.
Looks a bit worse for wear, that one. I think it was one of the cars from the start, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
he's took a bit of a kick in there.
Yeah, this is
So
Chris.
where's Simon then, if we're looking at Chris?
I wonder if Simon's had an accident, perhaps, and we're about to catch up.
Maybe.
I don't know,
Yeah,
actually.
not too sure on that highlight yet, because I didn't see Simon's Mercedes at any point. Oh,
I think this was after the Woolacott disconnect, weren't it? Because
yeah,
we've lost
Yeah.
three drivers now.
I just prefer with the Willicott
that was nice on the
That
break there by
was
Mark.
IT
a
connection issues.
fantastic move. That.
That was nice on the break there by Mark. Later on the brakes, he still got it turned in.
So Marks is a strong pro-am driver. Usually
Yeah.
he's either in front or behind me, either when we qualify or during the race, and it's
Don't
always a tough one.
Don't look. Don't look. There's the fucking horrible curb. And yeah,
Oh,
that was my mistake, which let Sandro past.
can't park there, sir.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
So yeah,
I bet you were. Yeah, that.
raging.
What were we? 13 laps. Yeah, that was. I think that was the one that gave me my 3rd corner cut. It kicked me
It's
across.
weird though, isn't it? You know, when you do sort of like fly off the track like that, it does still give you the track limit warning. So Mark had been.
Oh, Ash.
I know.
Oh, Ash. Covered the inside well, though, mate. Oh, you let him through. Bit of dirt on the tyres there, I'd imagine. Another
20,
great pass there by Mark.
27 degrees, my rears had popped up to then, and I thought, I don't really want to turn in too harsh on this.
Yeah. Yeah, another good pass by Mark, 2nd time. Sean and Christian.
So Sean,
Our
one of the AMs.
And Christine, our very first female driver. The better half, as I said earlier, of Kirk. Oh, drove straight past. Yeah, you can really see the speed difference there of the BMW at times.
I have to admit, I think it's such a great thing when you see, obviously, with Christine and Kirk being obviously husband and wife, being able to enjoy.
Oh yeah, living the life.
And in VR.
together,
And in VR as well.
VR as well. It's class. It's couple goals, big time.
So Sean, if you
pomegranate.
see there, in the bottom corner, is doing 33.7s, which is a strong time for an amateur. That on Zolder.
Ferrari looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think if I'd have not fallen in love with the Lambo as much, I'd have probably been back in the Ferrari for this series.
I wanted to try something new, otherwise I think I'd be back in the BMW because I just wanted to change, get my driving a bit better.
I like the McLaren. I've been setting the fastest laps on some of the tracks in McLaren, but a part of me, I like to obviously design the cars, and I just think the BMW just looks like such a good. It's just a good looking car.
Yeah.
It's got big space on it where you can just put some good designs on it. So I've been tempted to maybe toy about with that again, but
little go there from Chris.
The only problem.
Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, because this is where
that's not Eric. That's P-Dub.
Yeah, this is brilliant. This. So Eric can
Eric's
just spin it off.
Ah no!
He did well to avoid the ball.
I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping that he was gonna clip that. So I think this is lap 21. So I'd just come out of the pits. So I believe I'm a lap down on Eric. Yes, I am. Yeah. So when I saw he was barreling down on me, I was like, "Oh, this is humiliating. I'm gonna have to let him pass me, so I'm gonna get blue flagged."
Look at that liver.
I just fly straight off the track.
That was
it's out the pits. Kirk coming out the pits.
Yeah.
Zarek had really good pace, to be fair to him, on this particular track as well. He's actually been good pace past few races, but I felt he was particularly strong in this one.
Yeah, I mean, we did some practice a couple of nights before, and we were trading fastest laps, so he had the short run pace, but he wasn't so confident on the longer run, was what he was saying to me.
Yeah.
And here's My driver of the day, as you'll listen to on the podcast, is Nick Pelzel. Doing a great job getting from 22nd up to 6th place. He finished overall.
Yeah, so he's barreling down on me here. I think I'd got about 2.5 seconds on him. But start to make ever so slight mistakes because I'm now on track limit warning number 3.
Yeah. I was quite surprised
So
when I came out from my drive-through and I filtered out, and I was 3 or 4 seconds in front of Nick. I was happy for him, to be honest. I didn't want him to catch me because I wouldn't have. I don't think I'd have defended quite as sternly as I might have done with others. Because he had a great race.
I had a bit of a moment there with a back marker that could have yielded for me a little bit earlier on, and we both nearly ended up becoming one.
So what lap did you guys eventually pit on? Because I think I was definitely the last to pit. Cause I think
I can't
definitely
remember.
lap 25.
I can't
I went
remember
on.
what lap it was, but it was about around the 37, 38 minute mark.
Yeah, because my pit strategy, I was talking about it earlier, obviously to go long, when I realised, I thought actually I'd maybe overfueled, and that's why I was getting pulled in by Eric and Peter, P-dubs, but then actually once I did my strategy and I came out ahead of Eric and P-dubs, I thought, and I was only, initially when I first came out, I was only 6 seconds behind Sandro, and I thought, well, I've maybe played a blindy here. But then obviously Sandro and himself just kept on gradually pulling away from me.
Again, just commenting on that overtake we've just seen. 2 amateurs giving each other loads of room, loads of respect. Well done, lads. Even when we were blue flagged and stuff, there was very, very few places that they caused a problem. Really, really good.
I think I were about on the 30-minute mark because I was showing as a lap down when you pitted, and I managed to. Oh, it's brilliant! Brilliant move.
Unlucky, and runs it wide.
But yeah, it was just the wrong place to do that. So when you pitted, I managed to get back on the running order.
What I would say is great thing with when you see the improvement with the amateur drivers as well. Week on week, there's just visible improvement, which is great.
Well, I've ended up promoting one of the AMs from amateur into pro-am.
Yeah, we discussed it.
Was that Sean?
Yeah, Sean. We discussed it in the podcast earlier, and the fact that we'd done P-dubs when he joined, at the start of season 2, he was sort of low pro-am, high am when he started, and now he's pushing myself and Gavin, and and he's been promoted to pro as much as he didn't enjoy it, but I think he accepted it, and he's relishing the challenge now, and he's leading the pro class at the moment. So
yeah, he's had, to be fair, he's had an absolute meteoric, if that's me pronouncing my words right, rise. I mean, he's meteoric. Meteoric. Yeah, he's so fast, and I think he would say himself. I think the biggest thing is just getting used to that consistency of being at the front. I think he gets, and as we all do, sometimes get that kind of rush of blood, and you're like a bit tense, and then a mistake happens.
Oh yeah, that's my biggest issue.
These two here were causing me some grief because they're barreling down on me.
Well, this is the 4th time they've appeared in the highlights package so far.
Yeah, there's me, look. So they're barreling down on me, and I'm absolutely dripping in sweat because it's like 40 degrees in my room. Yeah, so because I was really quick on the other sectors, but this sector here, I was just concerned that if I started to up my ante and started to push again, that I was going to get the 30-second time penalty. So this is the second to last lap, I think.
Yeah.
And just as we come on to the final pit straight, it'll probably not show it, but I ended up just clipping the grass. And if you just go back onto my car, now it says race finish, you may see it.
Hold on 1 second. There we are. I'm now following you.
So if you look how close Hans is to me here.
Yeah. They've really caught you since the last clip of that.
Yeah, so I'm like doing nearly 32s, so like high 31s.
Were you going slow because you you got issues, or were you just in conservation mode at the minute trying to bring it home?
I'm just trying to bring it home. So
Yeah.
on this year, I was like really conscious of not going
Oh,
over
back to the start.
not going over the curb, because for me, with how close we were running in the order, if I'd have got a 30-second time penalty, that was me done. I was out of the top four. And I really needed having Arik finishing first last week in primes and, running first this week. I really needed a sort of like top 5 or better finish, because I'm missing Spa. So I needed to gain as many points as I possibly could, because, I had a bad one last week, which effectively goes down as my drop race. So yeah, it would just, for me, would just try and bring it home as best as I could, without losing any positions or compromising anyone. And, one bit, Puts was pretty much behind me, and he was coming past, and he just ended up coming in a bit hot and catching the grass, which gave me like 2.5 seconds of breathing room. But because I'm doing such bad laps, then I'm in like the 31s. It didn't take, hands and cuts long to catch back up. So it immediately put pressure back on me for 4 laps, and I was just like, please, I just want this race to end.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'm just going to tab out of that and leave it playing in the background. And if one of you two fine fellows wants to run through the results, and then we'll do the standings.
I'll tell you what, I'll do the final finish order.
Okay, start with the AMs.
So finishing 12th overall or first in the AMs is Chris Wilson, isn't it? So one of the new amateurs from last week. So maybe we'll have to have a look at seeing what times he does, and he might find himself promoted. Sean Field and Stacey Ellis. So first, second, and third. Stacey Ellis, really strong drive from him, to be fair. He's really improved since he's come to CVR, and we were putting good laps in. Like I said, he's trying to let me past, but he's doing 130s. So
Yeah, he had a strong race in the end, and yeah. So for those that don't know, he's racing from the back as his Twitter handles and what he's got on Singrid here, which I'm just highlighting for those that are watching on the YouTube. So yeah, moving on to Pro-Am then.
So Pro-Am, first or fourth. So he finished 4th overall, or first in the Proms was Arik. Second, we've got Nick Petzel and Connor Yelowecki.
Great performance from Nick to get from 22nd, no qualifying, finish second in class.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted a bit better race with Nick, trying to hold him off, but in the end, it was trying to just self-preserve and bring it home. So yeah, big shout out to that. And then pros are actually first, second, and third overall, so it shows that we're doing something right with the splits. So Sandro Van Sand, big shout out to him. Congratulations and well done for going from low down, from the back to the front. Gav Sullivan, so good race from you, Gav.
Yep.
And Peter Wysinski, or P-Dubs as he's more commonly known, in third. So there's your running order.
And in fourth place, Paul Simon, myself. You can't cut it off just before me.
That's like me saying Pro-Am's fourth place is Ash.
Well, you can do. I've got there's the full listing on screen currently for those that are watching on the YouTube. So,
If you want the runner-up badge, you can have it, mate.
I just want to be noticed and talked about.
I've got nothing left.
I've got nothing left. Right. Let me move over to the standings in the AM class. I'll let you go ahead again with that one.
So no, I'll give it to Gav.
Okay. So from the amateur standings then, so I'll give everything. I'll read through everybody. So we've got in 4th place currently Lucas Lemes on 40 points. 3rd place we've got Chris Montgomery on 100 points. We've got Stacey Ellis, or Racing from the Back as he's known, on 144 points, and just 10 points ahead we've got Simon Tonkin on 154. Moving to the Pro-Am class. So we've got quite a lot more to read here, so maybe a bit of more I can choose. So I'll start with the 4th place again. So Nicholas Pelzy on 132 points in 4th. We've got Connor Jalowicki. I've completely butchered for the 2nd time. Jalowicki. There you go. Jalowicki. Right. So he's on 136 points in 3rd. So just 4 points ahead of Nicholas, and then just 3 points ahead of Connor is Mark Cutts on 139, and then Arik is pulling ahead on 161 points and leads the Pro-Am class. And then
He's gonna get promoted. Put him in the pro class.
And then in the Pro class, in 4th we have Sandro Van Sant on 111 points. We have Paul on 128. Just 1 point ahead of Paul is myself on 129 points. And then just 4 points ahead of me, we have Peter Wasinski on 133. So it's really, really tight. The top 4 is actually pretty tight within the Pro class. So it's shaping up to be a good end to the second half of the season, or good run into the end of the second half of the
Not
season.
to take anything away from Pete as well, but the points that he gained are what he's brought over from Pro-Ams as well. So he showed you what a strong series he started having in the Pro-Ams before we promoted him to Pros.
Yeah.
So yeah, big shout out to that. And then I think once we get the Pros coming week in, week out, it should hopefully balance the sim grid, because the Pro category is still attracting new Pro drivers. So if you're watching this or you're listening to it, or however you are managing to get through onto it, you know, and it's something that you're interested in, by all means, get your mates if they're fast drivers and stick them in the Pro class, because I think once the couple of people that have been on holidays and stuff, it should bring a really tight race, really.
Yeah, because because we've got other drivers like Todd. I mean, Michael was unfortunate to have network issues on Zolder, so he would have been again even closer as well. So yeah, it's definitely tight, definitely shaping up there. The second half of the season is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, for those that are new to it, I've currently got the poster on screen for those guys that are watching the YouTube. As you can see, the next race is race 5, September 24th, and practice starts at 7 p.m. British summertime, and that's at Spa-Francorchamps. So those guys in the slightly slower cars are dreading this one, I think, myself included.
Yeah, luckily I'm away for Spa, but I ran a couple of laps in the Lambo, and wow, I
Yeah,
don't know what they've done to the Lambo
it just
on Spa, but it's really, really is slow. And I've tried an array of different setups, and I think I was at best 4 seconds off my Mercedes time from like
yeah.
6 weeks ago when we were doing the endurance on there. So yeah, I'm
Couple of
glad I'm
weeks
not there for that.
couple of weeks back, I was doing some open lobbies and trying to build a bit of a setup, and yeah, I'm probably 3 seconds shy of my BMW times, sort of pre 1.9.
Well, the good news is Spa is one of my stronger tracks, so
Well, you
I'm
would
looking
say that.
forward to that.
Well,
So,
yeah.
but
Well, you're in the
I miss Silverstone though. So
While we're talking about the races that are coming up, we've got Silverstone as race 6, which yeah, it's a bit of a meh track for me. Watkins Glen, I don't click with it, and
terrible track.
Brands Hatch to finish it up is probably one of my stronger ones up there with Zolder. So hopefully I can finish on a high. And yeah, as soon as we finish race 8 on October 22nd, we are planning to do our next endurance event, which are currently being discussed, and we'll take some votes on tracks and time lengths over the next few weeks, I believe, Ash, if that's correct.
Yeah, so it's something that we've always looked to do. We get asked about it a lot. We've also looked at doing like charity events as well. So there's a few charities that a few of us have got close in his hearts and stuff. So we'll probably look at doing a decent charity event and seeing if we can get some decent money to assist the charities and get a good cause out of it. And if we do a bit of a longer endurance race, because I always remember the training. It became like a almost real
Yeah,
life.
it,
Eat, sleep, train, repeat.
yeah. I mean, the season gives you something to train for, but when you're in a team, you've got someone else relying on you. It's a longer distance. Yeah, the practice becomes a lot more serious, and it's great. And it's what really spurred us on to sort of push on with season 2 and season 3 of Cerberus. So yeah, thanks to all the guys that have been joining ever since, and
And I'm
strength to
glad you said,
strength.
because I joined season 2, so I'm very grateful that it spurges on to continue, because it is a great place to be and enjoy my
Well,
racing.
to be honest, I mean, when we started this, and I know for a fact Ash will back me up on this, we knew what we didn't want to do after being in a few other groups. So it was always going to be very sort of open, same as stewarding and everything else. We're not going down the route of this is what we say, this is what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all very sort of, we want everyone's input, we want everyone's vote, and yeah, we want to make everyone's life a bit more enjoyable when we're racing. Which actually
And I
is,
think it works as well, doesn't it? Because I
yeah,
mean, we're not saying that we've got it perfect each season, but each season that we've finished, we've tried something new, and the people that have stuck it out and stuck with us have assisted in us building pretty much where we're at now, and we've got a good rule set going into this season. Yeah, we had to do some few iterations after the first race, but now it's made
but
stewarding so streamlined.
absolutely, but that's what it was all about. We had feedback from guys saying, "Look, this isn't working. This isn't working," and it was quite an important one that we need to change stewarding rules and time penalties and stuff. So we implemented it straight away with the viewers and the guys that partake in the championship as well. With everyone's input, we made the changes and they've been positive.
Yeah, and even at that, even just it's a great community to be a part of anyway. Even if people, join the Discord and they're not necessarily able to race that often,
Yeah,
the chat's good. Everybody's dead welcome as well. So definitely encourage
yeah.
anybody that's just looking for a friendly environment to enjoy. Absolutely, just join the Discord.
Yeah, it's a great friendship group, and that's probably the sort of charity that I'll look towards is something along men's mental health, because I think this definitely improves all our mental health, and you get a nice little friendship, and yeah, that's the sort of my idea for the endurance race, and what we've built would
Yeah.
be to sort of try and partner with some sort of men's mental health or general mental health, although obviously apart from Christine we're quite male orientated, but yeah. Um, we welcome your input. Let us know what you think.
So going on to that then, just to see us out as usual, and as always, a big shout out to all the patrons that support
Oh yes,
CVR,
we wouldn't be able
because
to do what we do without you.
no, and as well as that, we've got people from all sorts of walks of life. So Kirk, that's obviously designed the posters. We've got people that are helping out with the liveries, which is Nick and his wife. And we've got
Pete,
people doing the
yeah,
podcasts.
P
Yeah,
Dubs
P-Dub.
P-dubs.
jumping in with this podcast, which came out of the blue, but yeah, it's become quite a good little chat. Yeah, bit
Matt,
of it.
Matt doing the coaching, but I mean he's took some time out of the minute to just to I think refine himself on
Yeah,
ACC.
we're gonna try and talk sort of maybe Todd or Sandro into doing some events and try and get them to do maybe some group tutorials or try and sort of spread the workload
Maybe
for the
track
tutorials.
guides would be quite interesting. It'd be good to
Yeah,
get their inputs on track guides.
yeah, even if
Yeah,
someone like Todd who doesn't like to get involved so much vocally, if we got him to record it, and then someone who's a little bit better, gifted the gab like Ash or P Dub could voice over it.
That audible chocolate.
Oh
oh,
yes,
you know. I
that
mean,
northern
Audible.
chocolate.
Oh, Dan knows. So yeah, big shout out to as patrons. So I'll just quickly run through them. So we've got Nick, yourself, Gav, Paul, Tex, or Steve Jordan, Eric, Martin, Matt, Michael, Christine and Kirk, Tony Erkzeg, Pete, aka P Dubs, Simon Tonkin, Chris Montgomery, Stacey Ellis, and Thomas Gerlach. So a big shout out to all those patrons who help us keep the lights on and running. So that's it from us with the highlights. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had something a little bit different. We are trying to get a live commentator going forward for the bigger events, so stay tuned for that. That should be interesting.
Also, whoever's listening, if you fancy yourself as a bit of a commentator and would like to audition and have a go at it, contact myself, Ash, or Eric, or any of the stewards, like Hans, Steve Byler, Nick, Gavin, and yeah, fire us a message and see what we can do if you're an aspiring commentator or you know someone who is.
So that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the podcasts and everything going forward, and I'm sure there'll be an equally as interesting highlight reel for Spa. So see you next time. It's a bye from me.
It's a
Bye
bye
from
from
me.
me, and a bye from me, and don't forget to listen to the podcast. The CVR show on Spotify, etc., should be going live tomorrow, being Thursday. Should be, hopefully, but we'll keep you posted. Thanks, everybody.
Nice.
Nice.
Ice, baby. Gav, if you want to